Hi guys. So you've come back from your walk and you're thinking, what stretches can I do now just to ease those muscles and make the body feel a little bit more comfortable? So the important ones are going to be our lower body, particularly around our calves and hamstrings. So spending a little bit of time on those. So we'll go through those stretches now. So you've come in, taken your shoes off, maybe got a quick drink. Bring yourself to a wall. Use your hands on a wall or door and then take a stride back with one leg. Noticing that you need your heel on the ground and your feet to face forward. Now equally, if you don't want to use the wall, you could be just joining me now with maybe the hands on the hips or the hands on the front of the thigh. And then we'll hold for 10 breaths, just starting to notice the stretch into that lower leg. So inhaling and exhaling. Think about the upper body. Think about staying relaxed in the shoulders. Yeah, maybe nudging the front knee a little bit further forward, just towards the end of those 10 breaths to notice that extra stretch. Yeah, good. And then we'll swap to the other side. So I'll just turn around, but you obviously can just swap over. So again, you might be on the wall, making sure your shoulder position is good, and then striding back with our opposite leg now. Just having a look, checking pretty much your foot is facing forward. Your heel is on the ground, your upper body relaxed. Now, maybe the hands on the thigh. Now, if we wanted to save time and we're thinking, my cup of tea is waiting for me, we could at this point take the hands behind the back and add in our chest stretch. So just drawing the shoulder blades lightly together, pulling the hands a little bit away from the bottom. And again, you could add in that little knee heading forward just a millimetre or two to increase that stretch into the calf area. Yeah. Good. We release the arms and then we'll come all the way back just to give the legs a little shake out. Now the back of the thigh stretch we can do on the bottom of the stair, just your normal step at home, out the outside step, anywhere, anything that you've got a little bit of a ledge, or I'm just going to use my stool here. So you can take one foot up, so your heel's on there, both knees are bent, and then you're leaning forward. Remember, it's the hinge forward from the hips, and that helps us get into the back of the thigh. And again, we can count 10 steady breaths. If you've done a longer walk, then you might spend a little bit more time. I'd be tempted, if you wanted to do all the stretches and then repeat them. Yeah, I'd be tempted to do that rather than staying for a lot longer at this point. Good. And then you can do exactly the same on the other side. But again, if you haven't got a step or a chair or a stool or anything, you can do exactly the same, stretching the leg out, putting the hands on the thigh, and then hinging forward and sitting your bottom back. So now you've got that good stretch down the back of the leg. So at no point do we need to get on the floor to do any of our post-walk stretches. They're all just available to us in standing. Good, inhaling and exhaling as we go there. Well done. So 10 or so breaths coming out of that. So remember, you've used your stool or the floor or a step. And then our regular inner thigh stretch that we all know. So our feet go a little bit wider. Both feet can face forward or a little bit out on an angle. And then we can ease over to one side, just very gently, until you feel that pull on the inner thigh. So inner thigh stretch, just finding that gentle pull, just enough for it to be enjoyable. Good. And then again, we can do exactly the same to the other side. So take your time, maybe adjust the feet a little bit if you need, and then ease over to that opposite side. Good. Relaxing the shoulders, finding the pull on that inner thigh area. Good. A few breaths again, just steady breaths, taking your time, making sure we're not in any pain or strain. Good. And then slowly coming out of that, and we can just bring our feet in. Well done. So just before we do our quad stretch, we could then go straight to our chest stretch. If we haven't added that in before, draw the shoulder blades together and pull the hands a little bit away from the body. Gaze is ahead. And quite often when we're walking, we are using our upper body. And if we're a little bit charging around, we could be rounding a little bit. So always remembering to come to that upright position as much as you can. Good, and then we'll add in the upper back stretch. So if we interlace the fingers, we we can soften the knees a little bit and then round into the upper back without taking our shoulders with us. We can tuck the chin towards the chest, press the hands away and really broaden across the back of the body. Good, take a breath in and a breath out. And again, you can still do your 10 breaths, just waiting for those stretches to occur, waiting for the body just to have a little bit of a chance. Yeah, and then always really nice to lengthen up if we wanted then. So to reach the arms up towards the sky. And maybe we just take a couple of breaths here, just getting some length through both sides of the waist. Yeah, noticing the stretch all the way down the back of the body as well. And then we can release the arms, or staying there if you're enjoying that. And then let's come into our quad stretch. So to protect the knees, the chair's always handy. So if you've got a table, you could just hook your foot up onto a chair. Good, have the top of the foot on the top of the chair, lengthen up, and then allow the hips just to press forward a little bit. To increase that, you can bend your supporting knee, and that draws you down a little bit into that to increase that stretch. But you want to feel the pull down the front of the thigh. That's what you're aiming for. So the crown of the head to the ceiling, that openness down the front of the thigh. Yeah, good, and then we can come out of that, give the legs a little shake. You could do that on the opposite side, and then I'll show you if you're doing it without the chair. So you could have the hand on the wall, you can pick up the foot, and you can bring your heel towards your bottom. Now, if you notice where I am now, we're aiming to keep the hips fairly level, the thighs fairly close together, and still the length through the spine as well. Yeah, so you've got your chair to use. I'm just showing you those options if you didn't want to use a chair or a stool. Yeah, so it's our front of the thigh stretch, and you want to, really get a good stretch into the body of that thigh. Well done. Good, so we can release the foot, and then we'll do one last stretch, which is the Achilles tendon, the lower part of the leg. So if you've got your wall, you then are going to place, I'll just show you from here so you can see, you're going to place one foot right up against the wall. So I'm not sure if you can see me there. So I'm going like that up against the wall now. So I'm bringing my right foot fairly close to the wall, and then I'm using my left leg to bring me up the wall. Yeah? And I'm going to keep my left leg bent and my right knee slightly bent. Yeah, just slightly bent. You can have the leg straight, to be honest, and then lengthen up. Yeah? So you've got your foot fairly close to the wall. So I'm like that up against the wall. Yeah? And I'm lifting myself up, lengthening up through the spine. So you should feel a bit deeper stretch into that Achilles tendon area. And we can do exactly the same on the other side. So I'm going to put my heel close to the skirting board. Yeah, my heel close to the skirting board, the ball of my foot up against the wall. I'm going to use my right leg now, ball of the foot, and I'm lifting myself up, all the way up through the crown of my head. Yeah, so I can feel into that lower part of the leg. And again, we can stay for 10 breaths, easing ourselves to the wall and up the wall. Good, and then from here, our last little bit we could do, if our feet are okay, just rolling onto the top of the toes and lengthening up to feel the shin. Now for this one, I'd just probably do a couple of breaths. So we're not going to strain the toes. Yeah, so a couple of breaths. Good, so top of the foot and just lengthen up so we can feel the shin area, just very gently. Yeah. Good, so all those stretches you could then repeat again if you wanted, if you had time. Yeah, or you could spend a little bit longer on each one. All right then, speak to you soon.